guys. How's it going? Welcome to the Coach's Corner here on Heart of Ohio Sports. We are live on the bullpen here at Benchwarmers Restaurant and Delivery. Nate Mullins, we've got Joey Krajewski and Donovan Walker joining us today, assistant coaches with the Tiffin Columbian football team. How we doing, fellas?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, yourself?
Absolutely amazing. Thanks for coming on with us. Appreciate your time, guys.
Oh, no problem.
Got a little bit of an overcast sky here, but it is beautiful weather.
Beautiful.
I mean, absolutely gorgeous night. I'm glad to be able to be outside for at least one more week.
I know. It feels
Count
great
our
out, too.
blessings. Yeah, for sure. So, let's talk some football, guys. This is the Coach's Corner. We like to kind of get a little bit more in-depth than the normal sports talk show, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about X's and O's this week. You got Perkins. Now, this is for all the marbles. I mean, you got two 7-1 teams coming together. Big clash for the SBC Lake. And, I mean, presumably the winner of this game is going to win the division, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, winner at least gets a share.
All right.
Winner at least gets a share.
So what's the mentality this week within the locker room, within the coaching staff? Like right now, your guys' mentality coming into this game, what's it like?
I think it's not similar. I mean, it's similar to every week, whereas, like, it's just be 1-0. Be 1-0 on Friday. That's all that matters. But,
You sound like Coach Lutz over here.
I know, but there is, like, kids aren't dumb. They know what's at stake. So just putting that from, like, this is one of our goals that we set at the end of the year, or beginning of the season, that, step one, win the SBC. This is our first opportunity to get goal one complete. So
there you go.
it's not shying away from our goals, putting it right in front of them, let them know what's at stake.
So, Joey, what is your role within the offense, within the staff, I should say?
So I'm the JV head coach and the receivers coach.
JV head coach, and you also coach the receivers for the varsity. Donovan, what do you do for the staff?
I'm the freshman head coach, and I coach secondary for the varsity.
So you guys are competing against each other
Every
in
day.
practice.
Every day.
That's nice. I like it. That's cool.
Or the edge.
Yeah, a little bit of edge. I like it. So, receivers-wise, you guys got a great group this year, man.
Yeah, we got some dogs.
Tough loss last week with Brady going down. Obviously, you're going to have some guys step up. What's the mentality like within the receiver group this week with him going down? Who's the next guy up?
They know what the deal is. I mean, it's next man up. A.J. Hickman will step in, and, we might not show it on film, but we got 7-8 dudes that we're comfortable with throwing in there. So, obviously, with the schedule that we have, we're playing tough opponents. We've had close games. Some of the scores might look like they were blowouts, but, third quarter when it's a one-score game, we got to stick with our dudes. But we're comfortable 8 deep, and I know we got some dogs out there, man. I'm not scared to throw AJ out there, not scared to have guys like Jack Newlove step up, Xavier Matthewson, Zach Shawberry, guys like that go in and I have all the confidence in the world. They can do everything in the route tree. They can block well, go attack the football, and do what we ask them to do.
So you look at the SBC Lake stats. Right now, you guys have 3 of the top 10 receivers in the league right now. You talk about Bryce Rogo, Jack Corper. Obviously, we said a little bit about Brady there, Brady Gooding. They've all had impacts in one way, shape, or form throughout the season. What's the mentality when you go into a game plan and you want to get, everybody the ball? Because obviously you got to keep everybody happy. But there's got to be, weeks where it's like, all right, we know we're going to get some looks with Jack this week, or we know this is going to be Bryce's game because we're going to get a good matchup here. What's the mentality like this week?
It's first of all, our TFB, we're a run first team first, and our receivers know that. Obviously, a lot of teams like to play us 2 high safeties on the hash because they know Brady. He's leading the SBC in touchdowns for receivers, and they know about Bryce. He's a 3-year starter already, all Ohio already. So teams are sitting on his hash already, and they know that. They're not dumb kids. They know. We talk about it. They know it. And it's part of maturity too. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, it's still maturing, trying to figure that stuff out. But just talking to them, seeing what we're seeing and stuff like that, just kind of maturing them. But obviously, got to get 4 the ball. Got to get Jack Corper the ball. Got to get Bryce the ball. Got to get AJ the ball. Got to get Jack Newlove the ball. And then most importantly, got to get 23 the ball. Got to block for 23 in space.
So, this week you got probably one of the toughest matchups this year. And, Perkins, that's one of those teams that you got to feel like they're probably gunning for you guys. Now, Donovan, your mentality going into this game, you guys have a tough test with Braylon Collier coming in.
Correct.
Now, what do you do when obviously you've got him, but you also they have a three-headed monster as well. They got Jaden Rowe, they got Weston Sersinger. They've got guys that they like to get involved, and they like to spread the ball around. And, their quarterback, Logan Lesh, has been pretty dominant this year. I mean, he's leading the SBC in passing yards for a while there. I mean, he was completing close to 85% of his passes at the beginning of the year. What's your mentality when you talk to your defensive backs this week? What's the approach?
We just tell him, we know we have the film on him. He likes to sling the ball. He'll throw it out there. Double coverage or not, he's throwing it out there. He's not underthrowing his receivers. He's overthrowing them. So we're telling them to stay deep, always stay behind everybody, play up on it. He's not a big back shoulder guy unless he's going towards stick routes, but I like our DBs with their receivers. We don't have that much separation. I think Perkins are playing a little hurt receiver core-wise, but I think our guys are ready to go, take the competition. And I kind of want to compare Perkins' receivers to Fremont's. They had those three guys they like to throw to.
Yep.
And we've seen it before, so we should be on our toes ready for them.
Well, I mean, you guys did a really good job in week 1 with Fremont's receivers. Yes. I mean, considering that they were coming into the game, they had 2 All-Ohio receivers, an All-Ohio quarterback, and you guys did a really good job shutting down the passing game in that game.
Yeah. I think honorable mention receiver as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different weapons that they had, and this is, like you said, it's a similar style offense as far as they have that three-headed monster. They got a passing attack that, leads the SBC, leads a lot of teams in this area. So, with Logan Lesh, the quarterback, from a defensive back perspective, how do you disrupt his game? Because obviously he's going to want to sling the ball around.
Correct.
What do you have to do to get in his head? What do you got to do to kind of make him think twice about throwing the ball when there's double coverage?
I think disguising our coverages pre-snap because they are a check team, but then also getting our hands on those receivers, making them reroute, adjust, and messing up that time from the quarterback and receiver routes.
I like that. Get physical.
Yes.
Get physical with him.
And
that's what we
got
got
to
do.
Film with the Clyde film, they had a corner showing like he was doing a corner blitz, no one out on that X, and they checked. He stayed there, snapped the ball. He bailed right over that fade, and they pump faked and ended up getting a 5-yard sack. So I think disguising, holding our shell, showing something, getting something else will help us out.
All right. So this is obviously a big game for you guys, but you got to treat this just like any other game. How do you keep that mentality week to week? Because this is the 3rd road game in a row, 3rd SBC Lake rivalry game in a row. I mean, the stakes just keep getting higher every week, and you guys just treat these things like a business trip. How do you do this? What's the mentality? I mean, like during practice, how do you keep these guys even-keeled?
Just keep them going against each other. That's a nice thing. We got a lot of dudes, and we think that we can get – obviously not games like we've had the last 2 weeks and this week. Obviously, we're not going to be able to put up on our scout team as good as a look as what we're going to see. But when we do one-on-ones, when we do like our bubble drill, when we do, our combined drills where we have
Protect the cone.
Yeah, we'll get our best guys against our best guys, which may be we got to cut the field in half and we got to go, 2-on-2 concepts, man on man. We just got to put our best guys, and then. I mean, some of those matchups we'll get, we won't see when we got like Bryce Rogo going against Damian Brockington, you're not going to see a corner like that.
No.
You're not going to see a pressed up corner like that. That's that athletic and that fast. So just getting those looks and then just keeping it competitive for them. And especially also going off last year with what happened last year, how it kind of didn't fall apart, but just not a lot of stuff rolled our way. We don't let that lose their mind.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's
we keep that very, very forward on them.
That's got to be the mindset going into this week, going into this game. Keep that fresh, keep that memory fresh about what happened. You don't want to forget. So obviously, you guys have a lot to deal with this week. With this game in front of you, you got offensive perspective, defensive perspective. How is special teams going to play a factor today in this game? Because you guys have had trouble in the kicking game, and that's something that you've been lucky enough to be able to, and I won't say lucky, you've been good enough to be able to overcome those mistakes in the kicking game, basically because you guys have such a high-powered offense. What's some of the focus like in practice to try to shore up some of those special teams inefficiencies?
Yeah, especially I know stuff like on kickoff. Coach Boggs does a great job with our special teams, and sometimes there's very little things that the normal fan wouldn't see, whether it's this good snap, good hold, but laces are towards the kicker.
Yeah.
Just little things like that really make a gigantic impact. Or on kickoff, where like against Springfield, we gave up kickoff return, and it's just one guy getting out of their lane. 10 guys are good, but that one guy getting out of their lane, and then you see plays like that happen. So it's just really staying on them. We do a good job as coaches at making sure when Coach Boggs can't watch it all, so we're making sure we're each watching something else, making sure everything's tight and crisp, and just trying to do our best, put our best foot forward.
Yeah.
And especially don't put our special teams in bad positions.
That's a great
That's
point.
the tough part.
That's
don't
a
put them
great
in bad
point.
positions.
Yeah. So with you guys, I talked a lot about Perkins. I'm going to talk a little bit about your group this year. You guys have a really special receiver group, but you got a really special kid throwing him the ball this year. Obviously we've known all about Braden and his talent and what he's been able, but the maturity process that I've seen this year with him, I won't say that he's, limited, but you guys can run the ball better than you have in the last couple of years. And that's something that you're leaning on throughout the game. And that's a great thing, especially this area, this time of year. You want that, with Braden though, how do you keep him kind of focused on staying patient within the game plan? Because you got to think that he's out there, he wants to just sling bombs. He wants to just, I want to throw 6 tutties, I want them numbers, but how do you keep him patient?
So that's what you'd expect. But when you talk to Braden about the game plan or what it is, the only thing that matters to that kid is winning, just being 1-0. That is the only. He doesn't matter if it's a game like Clyde where he only throws 12 passes and Damian runs for 250 or something like that. All he cares about is winning and staying inside the game plan, not overreaching, not overextending, just hitting your check downs. If we got a shot, take it. But if not, hit your check down. And they grew up together. He knows that if we got a Jack Corper check down, that's not a bad play.
Right.
Getting Jack the ball in space is not a bad play. Getting Damian the ball in space, not a bad play. So just staying inside the game plan and just 1-0. Just run the ball. Take your shots when we got them. Check the ball down. Get the athletes in space, and that's about it.
Nice. So Donovan, you got to deal with competing against this kid every day in practice. What's that like? From a defensive coach perspective, you got to kind of figure out a way to rattle this kid, get the best out of him. Because that's what your job is. As a coach in practice, you want to see what he can take, push his buttons.
We do. We sometimes we make jokes, say, "Oh, we'll double team his brother, make sure he can't throw to him." There and that, but.
Security blanket.
Anytime there's a bad ball or even a JV player there, scout player there, we'll make sure he hears it. Even if it's a good pass, we'll call him out of bounds. No, he didn't catch it. We'll try to get in his head just like any adversity a ref would do or a player on the field would do.
I like that. That's good stuff, man. So, defensive mindset going into this game, what's the focus this week? They look like, if you look on paper, I'm looking at stats right now. That's what I do. I'm a media guy. So I go to the SBC Lake stats, and I see a lot of passing yardage for this team.
Yes.
And not a lot of rushing yards. They don't like to run the ball very often. When they do, the quarterback's running the ball.
Yep, their quarterback's, man, they're runner.
Yeah.
And they get that from their coach, Santoro. He was the same way in high school when we played against him.
Absolutely.
Ran the ball, and then they want to chuck it deep.
Yeah.
But I think their best receiver, we heard that he might be out for 4 to 6 weeks with the knee injury.
Oh.
Don't know if that's obviously true, but we are preparing for them to play with their best guys and ready to go no matter what. But we want them to run the ball. I know they like to get the ball out in space to the receivers, let them do some bubbles, get out there. But I like our guys in the secondary and our linebackers to rally up, make the tackle. I'd rather force them to run the ball to establish a run game against us if they can.
That's what
I think they'd have to do.
Yeah.
To get the win for that.
That's probably got to be the mindset this week defensively is we want to force them to have to run the ball.
Correct.
We want to shut down that passing, just like you did to Fremont in week 1. Shut down the passing game and see if they can run the ball against you, because you guys have been really good about stopping the run this year.
Yes,
that's one thing on defense that I've noticed. You can run the ball and you can stop the run.
Yep,
those are 2 key ingredients to a championship team.
In the offseason this past year.
Yeah.
We need to establish a run defense.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty obvious. It permeates through every layer of the defense too. I mean, you got your corners come up and play great run support. Your safeties come up and play good in the box. So it's something that I've noticed. A lot of people have noticed in the area. So kudos, great job this year.
Appreciate it.
I mean, I really appreciate everything that you guys do. I know all the fans appreciate it too. I had a couple of requests to get some assistant coaches on the show. They want the assistant coach perspective. So once again, I appreciate you guys coming on. Any shout outs, anything you want to talk about, anything that I didn't touch on that you want to kind of gloss over here?
Man, I ain't got none. Shout out to my guys, though. Receiver
That's right.
group. Young guys and old guys. Young guys cause me a lot of headaches, but
Yes, they
so
do.
do the
Yes,
old
they
guys.
do. Those old guys just make it easier for you just to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to coach them up too much, but just little techniques here and there, but those are athletic enough to make plays where you don't have to do too much.
Well, I'm sorry you're going to have to deal with my son next year. So
I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
It's always a challenge every year, but no, those guys are great. They make it as frustrating as they can be. It's fun though, because then you see the growth from 2-a-days to like week 9 now, where
yeah.
it's like, oh, they're actually understanding this.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
For
Only
sure.
took 10 weeks, but
Yeah, right.
Nice. Well, hey, that's what it takes,
Better
man.
than nothing.
Sometimes.
Exactly. Just get them ready for Fridays in a couple years.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Hey, guys, appreciate it once again. Thank you for coming on
Thank
with
you.
us.
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for having us.
Once again, Donovan Walker, Joey Krajewski joining me live here in the bullpen at Benchwarmers Restaurant and Delivery. We are live here with the Coach's Corner on Heart of Ohio Sports. We're going to step aside, take a quick time out. We got a couple more special guests joining us next on the program, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Coach's Corner right here on Heart of Ohio Sports. All right, guys, and we're back here with the Coach's Corner live at Benchwarmers Restaurant and Delivery. We are out here in the bullpen. I've got a couple special guests joining me once again. We got Mason Johnson. We got Harry Schultz, quarterback and center. Not in that order, though, for the Calvert Senecas. Thanks again for coming on with me, guys.
No problem.
Appreciate your time. So, it's been quite a journey with you guys since we've started broadcasting. I mean, we covered you guys with baseball. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a blast. And then now we're into football season. So this has been kind of an up and down season for you guys. And now you're a little bit more up than down. These last couple games have been pretty fun. If you're a Calvert fan anyways, I mean, it can't be much fun for Buckeye local fans having a team come 3 hours away and just stomp you into a mud hole. So, but, man, the defense has been playing lights out the last 2 weeks. But you guys have put up 95 points on offense. Now, Harry, is it Harry Harrison? How do you like what do you like to be called here?
It doesn't
I've
really
seen
matter, but
two different ways on the roster, so I want to make sure I get it right.
You can call me Harrison.
Harrison.
Yeah.
I like that. Matthew Harrison. It's kind of like the Matthew Stafford thing. Like, come on, distinguished. That's my name. I like it. So, Harrison, you guys put up a lot of points these last 2 weeks. Starting to get things rolling. The offense is starting to find its groove. What do you attribute that to? What do you think the most glaring reason for that success the last 2 weeks has been?
I think we just kind of, after that Margaretta game, so we know what happened there, we just kind of came together knowing that we didn't want this feeling again. And just at practice, it starts on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then goes into Friday. But obviously the line just creating space for our running backs and receivers. And obviously the coaches, too. They're pushing us, putting in new plays and new stuff every week. And just having trust and just trusting each other in our decisions and just kind of working together.
That's the big key with any successful football team. You got to have chemistry and you got to work together. That's so important. And I think that's something that it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. It's not something that you can measure with stats. But that's something that I've noticed this year. As you guys play a lot more together than I've seen in recent years, this team feels like there's a great chemistry within this group. I mean, talk about what kind of a bond you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it starts off the field, just team bonding. Obviously, we have that every summer, and there's that lifting at school, and whether we're just chilling and hanging out and going to eat together, I think the chemistry that I felt this year is something I haven't felt like a team I've been a part of my whole life. So it's something special with us this year.
That's awesome. That's what I love to hear. So, Mason, it's your job. You set the tone. I mean, people talk about the quarterback being the most important guy because he touches the ball on every play. You literally touch the ball on every play. So it's important. That's a very important job. Talk about the chemistry between you and Harry this year. I mean, I've not seen any mishandled snaps. You guys done a great job so far this year in chemistry between the two of you. Is that something you guys work on every day in practice? Is just making sure you're on the same page?
Yeah, we snap every day in practice, and we've been snapping for a while now before, like, preseason and stuff like that. But, yeah, every day we snap quite a bit, just running through plays and even not running through plays, just snapping and getting everything down so we have that good chemistry.
Nice. So this is your senior year, right?
Yeah.
How long you been playing football, though?
I have been playing tackle football for, 6 years, since,
Nice.
7th grade. But
That's awesome.
I've actually never played center before until this year.
Really?
First year at center.
So it's an adjustment for you.
Yeah.
What's that adjustment been like? Where'd you transition from? What position did you play last year?
Last year I was hurt, but I was supposed to play right guard.
Okay.
So it's a lot different because now I got to snap the ball, then get to somebody and block them.
Right.
So you got a lot more on your plate, but you got to be more of a leader too, and help people out and tell them where they need to go if they're confused a little bit. But it's not too hard. Once you get it down, you know what you're doing.
So are you responsible for line calls and stuff? You call out coverages. You call out what you see.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. That's a hard job, man. I mean, I work with a guy, Tommy. He was a center. He played a lot of center during high school. Did he play center in high school?
College years.
College years. Yeah. But he talks about it all the time how important that position is. Now, did you play any defense?
No, I don't play any defense.
No defense? All right. No. That's fair. I mean, fair enough. You got to keep you healthy for the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like these last 2 weeks, the running game has really started to find itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I noticed we were there for the Mohawk game, beginning of the year. I was there personally for that one. And then I was there for the Fremont St. Joe game. I was also there for the Gibsonburg game. Now, the difference between those 3 games, the Gibsonburg game, you just weren't able to get anything going in the trenches.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mohawk game, the St. Joe, I mean, you guys literally dominated the line of scrimmage from start to finish in both of those games.
Yeah.
Has that been the mindset this last 2 weeks?
Yeah, we've honestly at the beginning of the year I have a freshman that plays left guard beside me, and then the right guard's a sophomore, and it was my first year playing varsity line.
You can call these guys out. I mean, they're great. I mean, to be playing as freshmen and sophomores, I mean.
So we kind of like just the middle part of our line, because like our 2 tackles have played before, so they're all right. But our like middle part of our line just had to get the chemistry of the double teams and getting up to the backers and stuff.
Right.
And like the last 2 weeks, we've really done well with that. So we've been able to run the ball like a lot more. So.
Yeah, and I noticed that Jacob has put up some pretty gaudy numbers these last couple
Jacob's
weeks.
a great running back.
We've always known that.
He'll run for 70 yards, and you don't even block that well, and he'll thank you. Like,
right.
It's just he's a great guy.
Well, I mean that goes to his family. I mean, Lori's a great person.
Yeah.
She's instilled a lot of great values in him. You know, so that family. I mean, that's
great family.
Synonymous with Calvert. You know, so. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about this game you got coming up this week. So tough matchup. Hopewell Loudon coming into town. I mean, the last 2 times you guys have played these Chieftains, it has not been fun for you guys. Yeah. How do you make it more fun this week? What do you do to set the tone for this game? Because I feel like the key to this one for you guys, if I'm an outsider looking in, you got to get going early. You got to establish something early, and really come out and punch them in the mouth if you really want to be. I mean, if you want to be serious about it, that's really what it's got to come down to. You got to come out and set the tone. Yeah. So how do you do that this week? What's the goal?
We really just got to be able to run the ball like right away. The game's won in the trenches. We always say that in 100%. Practice. So we just got to be able to run right away and start fast. We start slow sometimes, and we got to start fast and score quick. And
Harry, you might not like that. You got to run the ball. Sorry, but
all right.
Not going to be slinging it all over for this one. But no, as a quarterback, you know, you hear that word. You got to run the ball. Got to run. You know, how do you stay patient in this offense where, you know, some games you had 7 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 5 through the air, and then there's other games where, you know, you have to take a back seat to a guy like Jacob Rumback who's going to rush for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. You know, how do you stay patient within the game plan?
Just knowing that, I mean, obviously it starts with the run game, like Mason said, and just knowing that coach is going to give us the ball when he thinks that we can make the best play we can, and knowing that if our run game is punching it through them, then we just keep it going until they come too far up, and then we just go right over top with them. So and that's obviously, I'm not a selfish guy. If we're scoring and winning, it don't matter to me anyway. So
that's right. That's what's important, really. Like, that's the most important thing. Wins. I mean, you guys have been on a tear. We talked about that. You put up a lot of points these last 2 weeks. But, you know, you look at some of the other teams in the area, Hopewell being one of those teams, they got a pretty damn good quarterback as well. You guys are right there neck and neck with each other for the overall lead in the SBC River right now as far as passing statistics go. Now, what is your mentality going into this game? Obviously, you guys are more offensive guys, but what's the defense's mentality? How do they got to shut down Evan Crease this week?
I mean, our D-line's got to get pressure. We got to get to the quarterback. We got to make him uncomfortable. We got to make him uncomfortable in the pocket, and I don't know. We just got to fly around and play physical football.
That's what I was gonna say. Just fly around, read your keys, no one behind you.
There you go.
Obviously, get
Nothing
pressure
gets
too.
behind you.
Do you guys ever go to your defense and say, "Hey guys, you know, go out there and give them some heck for us. Cut us a little slack here. Let us take it a little easy on us here."
Yeah.
I mean, that defense makes a huge difference for the the offense when you don't have to be out there for so long and you're not on the field for over half the game, getting tired and wore out. You can really make things happen, you know.
Yeah. So when you guys go into a big matchup like this, obviously it's a backyard rivalry. That's what we like to call it. I mean, you guys are 10 minutes apart. You know, Hopewell, Calvert. This is always the classic rivalry that we look forward to every single year. We circle this one on the calendar. How do you guys look at this matchup? Because obviously, me in the media, I'm looking at it like these two schools hate each other, you know, and they're going to battle, and this is a war. And I mean, you guys got to know some of those kids over at Hopewell.
yeah.
You got to have some
sure.
friends over there.
Yeah.
How do you guys approach this from like a player's perspective?
Oh, I mean, obviously I've known a lot of guys from there for over the years, just playing in all types of sports, and just knowing that when you beat them out, it's a good feeling. It's
Yeah.
walking off that quarter field, just knowing you took that out, it ain't tastes good in your mouth. So
Yeah, everything tastes better after a win, for sure.
Yeah.
So, Mason, you taking over the center position this year, it's got to be more of a leadership role for you this year, right?
Yeah.
Being a senior. Now, you were hurt last year. You didn't get to play much, but you were still around the team.
Yeah.
You were still there. Now, what is your role now? Are you one of the leaders that they look to on the team? Would you consider yourself a leader?
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you do to get the guys hyped? Like, what's one of the things that you do before the game to get these guys where they need to be, get their head set?
I mean, we try to keep them focused all the time and try to, keep them focused on the game. Sometimes guys get a little crazy and they just want to do their own thing. But, it's game time. It's, you step on that field, you got to flip the switch, and you got to play. It's game time. So, we just – I guess we try to play with heart and show that we, really, really care about the game, because we do. And hopefully the younger guys pick it up and see, they got to do that too.
There you go. What do you do? I mean, obviously you're the kind of – all right, so this is another question real quick. I'm going to go off topic, and then I'll try to remember to go back onto this topic. But you are a second-generation quarterback here at Calvert. You took over for your brother. And now your brother ran this offense for 3 years, and now it looks like you're going to be running this offense for 3 years as you took over as a sophomore. This now your junior year. Now, expectations, obviously, that's something that you don't even think about. You're not worried about that. But it's got to be somewhere in the back of your mind, man, Jack set the bar high. I want to get higher. I want to be better. Is that a competition? You guys talk about this off the field at all? Is there a friendly rivalry going on, sibling rivalry going on there?
It's definitely a friendly rivalry.
You want to get better numbers at the end? You want to have them?
That'd be pretty sweet to have, just some bragging rights at home.
There you go. It's always good to have bragging rights during Thanksgiving, coming home, coming home saying, hey, who had more tutties, though, right?
Yeah, but, a lot of credit goes to my brother, too.
That's right.
Ever since he kind of taught me the football grind, just the off-season hit the field throw, because when I was younger, I didn't really want to do that as much. I wasn't really involved. Obviously, I wasn't the starter yet. But he kind of got me into that mindset. Just, you got to do off the field and in the off-season, and he's worked me up till today. Just teaching me new stuff every time we go out to the field. So, yeah, just huge credit to him. And
that's
yeah,
awesome. I
want to get above his bar. So
yeah, well, he set the bar pretty high, man. We call him the JYD, Junkyard Dog. He earned that nickname, that's for sure. We got to come up with one for you, though, man.
Right.
We got. We'll put the creative processes together here. Tommy's the one who comes up with all the cool nicknames, so we got to get him on that one.
You're good right now. You're good.
All right. So, guys, I don't want to keep you any longer. It's getting a little dark out here, but I want to give you a chance to give a shout out. Mason, you got anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to talk about here before we go?
I'll shout out my whole line. So I got
There we go.
Colin McCarty, Lucas Recker, Cameron Bajet, and Cameron Moore. Great dudes, big strong dudes on the block.
There's a reason why you've been able to run the ball. There's a lot of dudes on that line, man. Yeah. All right, Harrison, what you got?
I'll shout out my quarterback coach, Coach Tyree.
There you go.
A lot of tips this year, a lot of stuff he's taught me, and especially when I'm down on myself, tell me what to make the right play and what to do in tough situations. So a big credit goes to him, and big shout out.
There you go. So shout out to the quarterback coach. Any other shout outs, guys, before we get out of here?
Coach Casserole, line coach.
There you go. Big time. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys both for coming on with me.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely appreciate your time today. You did great. Nothing to worry about. Easy peasy, right?
Yep.
Once again, we've been live here at Benchwarmers Restaurant and Delivery. Come on out and enjoy some of this great food anytime during the week. Check out their hours. Check them out on Facebook. Make sure, if you've made it this far in the video, give us a share. Share the video, follow, subscribe on all the different platforms. Let me rattle them off here. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify. We can keep going. There's a bunch more. TikTok. Just anything you can think of. Search Heart of Ohio Sports. When you find it, give us a follow. We'd be very appreciative. Once again, thanks to all of my guests for coming on with me. I had Joey Krajewski and Donovan Walker. assistant coaches from Tiffin Columbian. And then once again, thanks to Harrison Schultz and Mason Johnson for coming on. And, of course, thanks once again to the Wizard, Greg Kinn, for keeping us live and on the air. Thanks to all of you for watching. You've been watching Heart of Ohio Sports right here at Benchwarmers Restaurant and Delivery.